You've always been tipped for the future leadership repeatedly. Is it annoying?
And I've repeatedly batted it back.
Or is it flattering?
Oh, do you know, I think it's curious to me that in politics, I guess there's such an assumption that there has to be a certain amount of ego to be in politics, I guess. There's just an assumption that if you're there, of course, you want the top job.
I, Jacinda Ardern, solemnly, sincerely and truly declare and affirm that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, her heirs and successors according to law. There is a Māori proverb, He aha te mea nui o te ao. What is the most important thing in the world? He tangata, he tangata, he tangata. It is the people, the people, the people. And it's good to be ready to get stuck in. We'll spend the afternoon and tomorrow getting Premier House ready for, I guess, the first time it's probably had a little one there. We must demonstrate that collective international action not only works, but it is in the best interests of all of us. We must show the next generation that we are listening and that we have heard them.
Do you want kids? What about this whole question about, work and babies, and families?
And as I said last night, I totally accept that I will be asked that question because I chose to be honest about it. But for other women, it is totally unacceptable in 2017 to say that women should have to answer that question in the workplace. We, New Zealand, we were not a target because we're a safe harbour for those who hate. We were not chosen for this act of violence because we condone racism, because we're an enclave for extremism. We were chosen for the very fact that we are none of these things. They are us. The person who has perpetuated this violence against us is not. He sought many things from his act of terror, but one was notoriety. And that is why you will never hear me mention his name. Like the rest of the world, we are facing the potential for devastating impacts from this virus. We currently have 102 cases, but so did Italy once. Now is the time to act. That's why Cabinet met today and agreed that effective immediately, we will move to alert level 3 nationwide. After 48 hours, the time required to ensure essential services are in place, we will move to level 4. These decisions will place the most significant restrictions on New Zealanders' movements in modern history. This is not a decision taken lightly, but it is our best chance to slow the virus and to save lives. As for mine, my wedding will not be going ahead, but I just join many other New Zealanders who have had an experience like that as a result of the pandemic. And to anyone who's caught up in that scenario, I'm so sorry, but we are all so resilient, and I know we understand that we're doing this for one another, and I know that will help us continue on. You'll be pleased to know that we do consider both the Tooth Fairy and the Easter Bunny to be essential workers. But as you can imagine at this time, of course, they're going to be potentially quite busy at home with their family as well and their own bunnies. And the last thing we need is another shed for Clark. He has two.
But it is...
We're just having a bit of an earthquake here, Ryan. Quite a decent shake here. Amanda, I'm sorry you're over me, but you don't have to stay on my Facebook Live if I'm bothering you. I'm sure there's many other things you could do with your time that you find less irritating. You're meant to be in bed, darling. It's bedtime, darling. Pop back to bed. I'll come and see you in a second. I'll come and see you in a minute, okay? Sorry, everybody. Yeah, Nanny will take you down to bed. Thanks, Nana. Well, that was a bedtime fail, wasn't it?
And I, for one, will never celebrate the gains we have made for women domestically, while internationally other women and girls experience a lack of the most basic opportunities and dignity. Me Too must become We Too. We are all in this together.
Yeah, a lot of people will be wondering, are you two meeting just because, you're similar in age and, got a lot of, common stuff there, when you got into politics and stuff? Or can Kiwis actually expect to see more deals between our two countries down the line? Because
my first question is, I wonder whether or not anyone ever asked Barack Obama and John Key if they met because they were of similar age. We, of course, have a higher proportion of men in politics. It's reality. Because two women meet, it's not simply because of their gender.
The New Zealand government put together a briefcase for Niamh to have at the end of the day, too. Isn't that lovely?
She calls it her busy work,
yes.
And if I come home without it, she's bitterly disappointed. But when I do come home with it, she goes, oh.
Her work is never done.
More homework.
But for me, you're absolutely right. We believe we can achieve what we see. So for me, it's not only important to showcase what it is to be a mother in a leadership position, but also to lead differently, to leave. I'm a big believer that you can be an empathetic person and a kind person, but still a strong person. And I think it's important to show those different approaches to leadership as well.
This summer, I had hoped to find a way to prepare not just for another year, but another term, because that is what this year requires. I have not been able to do that. And so today I'm announcing that I will not be seeking re-election, and that my term as Prime Minister will conclude no later than the 7th of February.
Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel to stay up to date with all the latest news from the New Zealand Herald. Click the subscribe button below or check out one of the videos here, and head over to nzherald.co.nz for more details on these stories and more.